It is time to let the Monday morning ruckus begin. My name, Jay, Cleveland like the city, Payne, and this is Things You Might Have Heard for Monday, September 26, 2022. And yes, we are here because Saturday, the 24th, was not the end of the world. But more on predictions towards those things towards the end of this show as we get deeper into the stories. We're going to present for you 10 stories from past weekend from Friday around midnight to this morning about 5 a.m. where we cut them off. We had about 92 stories in the whole shebang. And because it's the weekend, we take a bigger swath of stories to pick from. We chose from 30 of the top stories, 30 top stories, and then we whittled them down to 10. Now, my boy O's been getting me for being, a little wordy. So we're going to do our best to keep this thing to we won't say a minimum, we'll keep this thing down to a manageable number of stories, manageable number of minutes. So get things going. Stop by our main website at thisisaconversationproject.com. We'll also have less of promotion stuff, if you will, because it takes up time. But stop by our main website at thisisaconversationproject.com. Find out ways that you can partner up with us. You can support us with other sponsors and information about those feeds. Those are the websites you see for Facebook and Twitter, links up there, right there in the corner. So you can go ahead and get a head start of getting into the feeds and picking our stories for us, because that's how it works. Let's move on to the first story of the day. This one goes like this. London police arrested 17-year-old hacker suspected of Uber and GTA 6 breaches. Over the past couple of weeks, we have some stories about how a hacker, a teenager who essentially hacked into the Uber system, and the people at Uber, thought so little of it, unfortunately, that they deemed it as a joke. They thought it wasn't serious. Find out that they believed he was a teenager. And now the London police have found said teenager who was also dealing with the GTA Grand Theft Auto 6 work breaches as well. This is a serious thing that even though the people at Uber didn't take it too serious, this is a serious thing where security breaches are happening. It's kind of cool that a 16-year-old is playing war games in a sense and hacking into big time systems, but also kind of bad that they let a kid get into the systems and possibly cause some kind of havoc. Nothing serious came about from this, but it was enough to cause some distress in people once they realized that they were actually being hacked and that was not being pranked. You think adults and IT professionals would be a bit more serious about that, but they work for Uber. I said that. House of Dragons crushes the Rings of Power on pirate sites. Now, it's hard to tell about the actual ratings of the Dragons versus Dragons, the Dragons of J.R.R. what's his name, and the Dragons of J.R.R. what's his name. Yeah, totally butchered those guys' names. So I don't particularly care about either but Dragons personally. But apparently you do, and you're going to the torrent sites, you're going to the pirate sites, you're looking online to cheat your way to get the actual videos, not paying the prices for all those streaming services. And it looks like House of Dragons, the Game of Thrones spinoff prequel, I believe, is outdoing the Rings of Power, the Lord of the Rings spinoff, not prequel, I believe, of the two, which shows you kind of a rough edge of how the nerds or the science geeks are in which one is hotter. And House of Dragons apparently is hotter than Rings of Power. A lot more controversy with Rings of Power because, they got black elves, which, why not? What's wrong with black elves? They have more black actors doing these things, so why not have more black elves? Well, people get run up because, there's black mermaids too. So, historically non-real characters being of the not race is apparently an issue with people who are really deep into their stuff because, they're not actually real. But in real terms or real numbers, House of Dragons is beating Rings of Power, at least by access on the pirating sites. Female LAPD cop hospitalized with high blood pressure after her fake nudes were circulated among her colleagues. We've had a bunch of these stories pop up, and most of these stories are somebody gets caught with their OnlyFans page out there, gets public ridicule, and has to leave their job. We had a story last week about a police officer, a female and a rookie cop, who left her job because they found out about her OnlyFans page. We have stories about people finding people's OnlyFans page all the time. This is not what happened here. Some dudes playing around set up some fake nudes of this cop and circulated them among the rest of the force there in LA. And the female police officer in question essentially had to go to the hospital, basically having a panic attack because she was freaked out by, one, the fake nudes, and two, the fact that all her colleagues got to see them. This is not someone doing something on their own and making money off it. This is someone who's totally innocent in the issue and essentially being pranked or being hazed. This is not the way it's supposed to go. Rudy Giuliani has 2 weeks to pay ex-wife $225K or face jail time. So Rudy apparently is not getting out of this one so easily. What is this one? Back alimony. Back money that he owes one of his ex-wives. And guess what? He's literally not getting out of this one. He's got 2 weeks. He's on the hook for it to pay this thing off, or he may actually face jail time. Now, chances are he won't actually face jail time. It'll get a little extension to get this thing done. But this is the court basically pushing for Rudy Giuliani, the Rudy kind, to actually get on the stick and get some stuff done. You may wonder why Rudy was so willing to do so much crazy stuff. And that's because, oddly enough, Rudy Giuliani is in bad shape financially and has been for quite some time. Essentially, after his big run for presidency and his move into the private sector, his entanglements with Donald Trump were partially of friendship and partially of the fact that it would bring more notoriety to him and more money to him, i.e. the whole hooking up with the guys from Ukraine to try to get that whole deal going down. With his meal ticket out of power, for the moment at least, really just not getting a lot of love, a lot of looks towards a lot of things, and a lot of just, handouts because he has, proximity to the president. He has proximity to the old president, which isn't quite as good, which means his bank account is not so great. And because he makes a lot of money, you got to pay a lot of money to those ex-wives. That's why it's cheaper to keep her, folks. In this case, $225K is what's owed right now. He's got a deadline of now less than 2 weeks. I think we posted this story on Saturday because it was actually we posted Friday because it was like a Thursday story. And time is scoring out. Tick tock, Mr. Giuliani's on the clock. Becky Hammon, WNBA coaching success leaves NBA execs without excuses. The excuse is, why aren't there more female coaches in the NBA? Becky Hammon spent time on the bench with some of the wise men of the NBA, and then took her talents to Phoenix. Took her talents to the WNBA and to Vegas. Sorry about that. And won the first championship for the actual team, very new team on its own, in her first year as coaching. Being in the powerhouse that was the Connecticut Sun in the finals of all things. And so if a coach like Becky Hammon, a good coach who happens to be female, can do such great things in such little time, why can't a coach like Becky Hammon, a good coach who's also female, do that thing in the NBA? Now, a lot of the stuff is clamoring because we were looking for equality, looking for numbers, things like that. And so if a team wants to take on a female coach as a head coach because they really need something like that movie that Whoopi Goldberg did back in the 90s, you will see something like that happen because, believe it or not, even though we talk a lot on the story about the black stuff, really the world is motivated by a lot of green stuff. And so a lot of people will put racism and classism and sexism aside if they can make a buck off it. And they can smile and look good for the moment, even though in their hearts they're racist, sexist, whatever it is they want to be. So the WNBA has plenty of women coaches because it's women's basketball. Will the NBA pull up more assistant women's coaches and eventually an actual male head coach, someone who can actually take over a game if a male head coach goes down? We shall see. Two stories on the men in baseball who are chasing history. One hit it, one almost there. St. Louis Cardinals Albert Pujols joined 700 Club with 2-homer day. That happened on Friday night. So Saturday, there are all sorts of tributes, all sorts of pictures. Pujols, who went in Friday at 698, got 2 dingers in the Friday night game. And of course, people went nuts on that. Also, Aaron Judge, who's shooting for 62. At 60, I believe. Now, the football fans over ESPN were a little upset when Aaron Judge was at the plate because every time he went to the plate, They put a camera on him because they want to see. They didn't want to miss that 62. So in the age of access to everything, you can do that and pull these things up. However, it's a lot like the weather reports on a thunderstorm when the big game is on. You actually want to watch this game, and you're almost positive that that thunderstorm and tornado is not going to hit you, and you don't want the big old green screen. You don't want the local guy doing this stuff like that. It was a lot like that for the weekend of football slated on ESPN. Nostradamus' book sees surge in sales after eerie Queen Elizabeth II will Queen Elizabeth II will die at the age of 96 prediction. Hard to read, hard to fathom, but yes, Nostradamus is back on the charts, pulling on a classic of his predictions, because he predicted Queen Elizabeth II, Deuce, will die at the age of 96. He hit that one right in the money. So go buy you some lottery tickets. Go get your dream books. Figure out what Nostradamus is saying right now. Although he did not predict that the end of the world was on Saturday, because then obviously it would have came true. It didn't come from Nostradamus. It came from social media and the Quran or something. Obviously didn't work this out. Although we're trying to shoot a rocket at a meteorite to knock it off course just in case. So you never really know these things. And finally, Rihanna named 2023 Super Bowl halftime performer. So you can start all the Rihanna chants, all the songs, all the Umbrella Ella things you want to. Rihanna's going to be your halftime entertainment. And if you thought J-Lo and Shakira was bad, oh, trust me, you're going to hate this one. Now, remember, Rihanna was offered a chance to do the Super Bowl, I think the year that Shakira and J-Lo were doing it. But she did not want to be a sellout. She did not want to be a part of the adding on to the people when Colin Kaepernick was actively taking a knee and actively protesting in the NFL. Whether she's a fan of the game or not, she did not want to not give support to Colin Kaepernick. Now, well, I don't know. It's basically about money. Pepsi is the new owner of the halftime. I'm sorry. Not Pepsi. Apple Music is the new owner of the halftime show, no longer Pepsi. And Rock Nation is the producer of the show. That's Jay-Z's company, which worked out well to get the Death Row folks into the show last year. And Rock Nation is the home of Rihanna, who has not released an album in like 6 years. And so people are clamoring for more and more Rihanna, less of her makeup, more of her on stage, more performances, and people are hoping that she's got a new single that she's going to come out with something in the middle of the thing. Although putting out new stuff in middle of live performance like this usually is not a great deal. But Rihanna will bring us love from a hopeless place or something like that, at least music from a hopeless place this year. I'm not sure where it is this year, but she will be your halftime entertainment per the Apple Music people. Oh, one more. I'm sorry. I miscounted. Milwaukee radio station pauses Brett Favre's appearance amid welfare fraud scandal because they realize that Brett Favre is a scumbag. He still has his show on Sirius XM. He's still doing other appearances. He's still, big old lucky, country dude. And he's still a scumbag. Let's make sure that's put out there. Let's talk about a teaser story. We're going to keep this thing going. Here's a story we may talk about tomorrow if you deem it worthy. One of higher ed's worst kept secrets is out. It's even grimier than we knew. The secret that the reality is out-of-state students are actually funding the universities, not the local students, not the in-state students. It's people coming out of state who are paying the extra, not as an extra just to stick around, but they literally are funding most of the institutions going on these days. You want to talk about it? You want to chat it up? There's a whole lot of things going on in the world of higher ed and how things are ranked, how things are saw, how things are working out there. If this is what you want to talk about. You just have to engage with this story as it comes down to the feeds on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook.com/This Is a Conversation Project and Twitter.com/TH_conversation. As we send our news stories every 10 minutes, that's a lot of news stories, every 50 minutes on the feeds. Just engage in them, and the more engagement they get, the higher chance we get a chance to talk about that. We'll talk more about how the numbers work in just a bit. But first, let's talk numbers, as in numbers to support the Conversation Project. And we want you to check out Zenni Optical for numbers to support your bank account. This is a conversationproject.com/Zenny. This is a conversationproject.com/Zenny is your place to find great deals on all glasses: men's glasses, women's glasses, kids' glasses, sunglasses, blue blocker glasses, work glasses, sports glasses, glasses. I don't know where that came from, but all your glasses needs can be taken care at Zenny Optical. You're worried about bad prices being cost too damn much. Zenny Optical has very affordable glasses for the entire family, and they're not cheaply, poorly plastic pieces of junk. They're going to fall apart. These glasses right here, I got from Zenny Optical, and oddly enough, I've been getting the same pair of glasses, literally the same style of glasses from Zenny for years. I have multiple pairs, from just in case I take them off, can't find another pair. I have sunglasses made in the same form. This is the company that takes care of my eyes. They take care of my wife's eyes. My daughter has her eye appointment for her first pair of glasses in a few months, and she's going to get ones from Zenny. She's already picked out the frames. They're little cheetah frames because she likes cheetahs. Check it out on yourself. This is an affiliate link, so we get a little bit of kickback for the sale, but you pay nothing more. It costs you nothing extra. This is a conversationproject.com/Zenny. Visiting our sponsors is a great way to help us out and support the show. So it costs you nothing extra, and you're getting great things that you're going to get anyway. So check it out. We've picked this one out because they take good care of folks. They are Zenny Optical. TheConversationProject.com, or this is TheConversationProject.com, is a home for The Conversation Project. The Conversation Project is a project. It's a group. It's a thing, if you will, that it's made to bring more conversational topics out into the news, out in front and center for the news, for a way for people to do more talking about the news and about what's going on in current events and life history and things like that. Important things and some semi not so really weird, not so important things. These are stories that are more or less not the main story in your headlines, although we do get plenty of those here because they are conversational. Stop by our website. This is theconversationproject.com, and you can see what we're planning to do at the Conversation Project, what we've done in the past for different types of things, our legacy and what we have going forward. Also, ways to partner up with us, ways for other sponsors that may help you out, and links to everything, including our Facebook pages, our feeds, and our podcast and our YouTube pages. Check them all out there at the website. This is theconversationproject.com. I told you, less promotion. We're doing that right here. Now, they were talking about things that you might not have heard. Maybe you hadn't heard these people having birthdays today. September 26th birthdays today. Things to talk about include Linda Hamilton, the killer star of the Terminator franchise. She is 66 years old on this date. Beto effing O'Rourke, the Texas person who takes office and curses a lot and loses a lot of races, then curses a lot, then takes it for the people, and then he curses a lot. He is big round 50 on the day today. Serena Williams turning 41, of course, recently dropping out of competition. I think she may still play a couple small tournaments, but she's basically done with her Grand Slams, done at the U.S. Open, and going out with the shebang bang, turning 41 years old on the day, going out while still doing good, basically on top. Ironically, older sister Venus says she ain't done. She's still playing, so it's all on that. Today is Johnny Appleseed Day, specifically Johnny Appleseed's birthday. Born on this day in 1774, I believe. Johnny Appleseed goes by the original, tall tale of the man who went across the nation just planting apple seeds, just planting and taking apple trees from the east to the west, just going across the country, going through the wilderness, taking his time, and just, cultivating small pots of land, planting wild apple seeds, if you will, and spreading joy and apples across this nation. Get yourself an apple, get yourself a crisp one, get yourself a Honeycrisp. Honeycrisp apples, awesome. Galas, also pretty good. Red Delicious, they're the standard. They're where they are. But get yourself an apple, enjoy a nice crisp apple on Johnny Appleseed Day. Here's a short one, but here's one that's going to make you think. So this makes you really think about where you get your best work done, where your actual focus comes from. Adults spend 3 hours and 9 minutes on the toilet every week. Your average adult, if you will, 3 hours and 9 minutes sitting on the toilet, but are just 90 minutes being active. That means like exercising, working out, running, walking, doing jumping jacks. People spend that's literally about 5 times more time on the toilet than working out. Think about that for yourself. As a person who this morning got a 60-minute workout done, I'm doing my best to fix that average all by myself. Today is Monday, September 26, 2022. As I'm speaking these words, maybe it's not as you're watching this, but that's okay. Thank you for joining me for Things You Might Have Heard. Thank you for sticking around for the new bit of this thing, a little bit of a format change. I will do more explanations along the way. Maybe you caught it, maybe you didn't catch it, but we're going to do our best to keep this thing tighter, more pithy, more on time. Because this is Monday, we shot this thing out to the J. Cleveland Payne Facebook profile, the J. Cleveland Payne LinkedIn page, which had some issues this morning. Almost didn't get this thing off on time, and a J. Cleveland Payne YouTube page. To get this thing 5 days a week, I guess we may add this back to the thing. Make sure you stop by our YouTube page for the Conversation Project. That is, you can go to thisisaconversationproject.com/YouTube, or you can just go and search for the Conversation Project or youtube.com/Conversation Project. There you go. You can see us 25 days a week when we do this thing live on that channel as well. Also on the Facebook page as well. So that 5 days a week. Today, we gave you 10 stories out of a possible 30 to talk about. For the rest of the week, Tuesday through Friday, we only get about 30 stories in a day. So in that swath, we're going to pick from top 15 and give you about 8 stories. Yes, going back to the 8 things theme that we used to have before, but we're working on something. We're trying to make it work. Let us know how this works. This thing's came in pretty much on time, except for this extra yak stuff. So we're going to trim it up a little bit and keep it pithy. That's what we're going to do. Now, I am not going to stop saying stay hydrated, stay focused, stay limbered, stay on task. I guess focus is on task, because we need you to stick around for great things to come. Have a great Monday, beginning of a great week. Into we're almost at October. So yeah, go ahead. Pumpkin spice yourself like crazy. I'm going to just, head out the door and get ready for my day. Now,